What is the Jezebel spirit? Let's ask Father John and Izzy.
The spirit of Jezebel.
Oh, I can answer this one really quickly. Is the question, is there a spirit of Jezebel?
No, the question. Well, I have limited understanding, so my assumption was that there definitely is.
Mm,
And then talking about it. Yeah.
yeah. Well, Jezebel is a figure out of the Hebrew Bible. She is a flesh and blood woman who is the wife of a Hebrew king named Ahab. She is a polytheist. She's a pagan. She's a worshiper of the false god Baal, which promotes let's I don't want to be too graphic, but let's just put it bluntly: human and child sacrifice, um, sexual behavior that the Hebrew Bible and Christian New Testament would condemn as being abhorrent, and certainly uh, encouraging a sense in which her husband Ahab is becoming less and less and less of a authoritative figure in his own kingdom and in his own family, and more of a secondary figure, while Jezebel takes on essentially a rather authoritarian, domineering role.
Mm.
Jezebel was a real woman who really lived about 3,000 years ago. Um, this being said, Jezebel was empowered by Baal. She was empowered by other evil spirits, according to mainstream Christian and Jewish understanding. And I would say those spirits, plural, are definitely at work still. I would argue that one could make a case that some of the things that Jezebel stood for in her time are enshrined in our world today as good things in the minds of a lot of sincerely loving people who are perhaps beguiled by promises that a false system is making to them.
Could you give an example?
Oh, if I do that, I really will start off internet wars. I will make this an uncomfortable admission.
Mm.
Um,
I don't mean to do
yeah.
anything
Oh no, no,
way. It's just
is
curiosity.
Izzy, I love it. I love it. You please do this. Um, what I'll say is, how would I put this delicately for people? Jezebel believed it was necessary to offer human life, even very young human life,
Ah.
in exchange for fertility from the rain and for prosperity. She also seems to have promoted, I'm presuming this given the archaeological record, Asherah poles, a female goddess deity, under which basically something like actions associated with like the 60s free love movement would have been carried out.
Mm.
Um, what's curious about all of these things is in our culture today, many have made the argument that what's going on here is there might be a repackaging of this same kind of activity, but just under a different name. Right?
Wow.
So let's say you don't believe in a literal Jezebel spirit, and the Pentecostal and charismatic traditions really like the title. My folk, the Lutherans, really don't, and others are a little more skeptical. For me, it doesn't matter how you label it. The same powers behind her are still at work in a different form. Now, I'm not going to go into modern pro-life, pro-choice arguments. I'm not going to go into euthanasia arguments or even eugenics. But I am going to say here that I am worried when government and when wayward religion, fallen religion, teach people that um, we need another sacrifice for rain to come and for us to feel better. And that means putting all of our freedom, all of our responsibility in the hands of someone who is not interested in the dignity of the human person. I think a good example of that would be, for example, I don't think this would be as controversial, right? We live in a system where we place our elderly into facilities,
Mm.
largely who are abandoned. If we believe that they are brothers and sisters made in the image and likeness of God, why unless they have family support who can't provide, right? And I'm not condemning other people who are in difficult situations, right? But why is it that we treat them as annoyances or inconveniences when they're equally brothers and sisters? Don't they deserve the same dignity and respect as a 5-year-old child, or according to some, even the unborn, right? Shouldn't there be a sense in which life is sacred and honored from the womb to the tomb? So what I would argue is, no matter where we stand on these social issues, what I would say is we live in a culture that devalues human life and values prosperity, sex, money, possessions, me, myself, and I. And what I would say, if there is a real Jezebel spirit, and I think there are many Jezebel spirits, plural, that drove her, I would say that those same fallen systems are very much at work today. But the good news is, how do you combat that? How do you fight it? How do you fight it? And my argument is the battlefield is over your heart. Yes, over your mind, but also over your heart. And if more hearts can learn about Jesus, I think more people will leave or depart from behaviors and thinking that may very well be influenced by darker powers, for sure.
Hope that answers a few questions about the Jezebel spirit. Jezebel, not a bueno. Don't swipe right. If you want to see more of Izzy and Father John, I'll post a link below to the original video. Be blessed and give your heart to Jesus. He loves you this much. Goodbye.